cutscene. We don't want cutscenes. What's going on, guys? It's Beezus here, and I'm gonna do another stream. And this time I'm trying something new. I'm streaming in the highest quality that the PlayStation will allow me to do, which is 720, 60 frames per second. And it's more of an experimental thing for me because unfortunately I can't capture any of this, so this is going straight to YouTube, and when I'm done, I'm done. And I'm gonna try to keep this. Oh shit! I'm gonna try to keep this at like maybe half an hour at the very longest. But yeah, the reason I'm doing this is, well, what I just said, and I'm playing Diablo, as you can see here. And as you can see, we got a new event here in Diablo, the Darkening of Tristram, which is something that has been in the works for some time now, and I knew about, but I was, pretty excited about, because from what I understand, essentially it's going back to Tristram, which is, the original Diablo, the Diablo 1, and some of the features that I've heard about it is they bring back the original music, which is awesome, and they've done some sort of mapping on the game, some sort of visual mapping to make it look like it's a little more retro, and they've even limited the movement so that it's only in 8 directions, which is the classic movement. And as you can see here, we've got the case Diablo, and just for a little trinket's sake, we got Tyrael from Diablo 3 as a pop figure. Keeping him in the case, I don't want to take him out, but that's for you guys to see. It's a special moment, guys. It's Diablo's 20th anniversary, so I've sort of been asleep on this game, but in my last stream, when they mentioned Diablo and Overwatch, it kind of made me itch to play. So let's just jump right into it. That's my fancy demon hunter there, and I'm gonna go ahead and jump into Act 1. But yeah, Diablo is one of my favorite games. It's actually like the first game that... Oh, listen to the music, guys, just real quick. It's a beautiful thing. As a matter of fact, let me see if the music's all the way up, because that music is badass. Let's turn that up. Turn the effects a little down, voice down, because that music is where it's at. So yeah, I love Diablo. It's one of the games that I've played extensively and for such a long time. So for those of you that don't know and are interested, if you want to experience this retro part of Diablo 3 that has just been added, you have to go to the old ruins, and as you can see, there's the Darkening of Tristram. You fast travel there, and you have to look for this portal, which is awesome because the portal is sort of... You'll see it. Like it's really neat how the portal looks. It's like a little tease. Forgot what level I'm running this on, but it's of the higher difficulties. So yeah, this demon hunter is a demon hunter that I've worked on for quite some time. I have a pretty neat set that makes it, for those of you that know sets in Diablo, I run the Marauder set with Natalia, or wait, not Natalia, Danetta's Revenge, which is the dual crossbows, which allows me to essentially vault infinitely, which is what you see me doing here, and it's really cool. It makes the demon hunter very mobile and hard to hit. But yeah, Diablo's a game I've been playing for some time now. The first time I ever played it was on the console. I played it on the PlayStation 3, and like I tried out the demo when the demo was out for the console, and then I decided to pick it up and played it for quite some time. I don't think, come to think of it, when I played it on the PlayStation 3, I don't think I ever played the Demon Hunter class. I think I played the Monk and the Witch Doctor. And as you can see here, this is the portal I was talking about that goes to Tristram. And as if you could see it as detailed as I can, you'll see that it's very like pixelated, and it looks almost exactly how it looks like in the original Diablo, which is fucking awesome. So let's jump right into it, and as you guys will see, even the sound textures have sort of been like brought down, but like you'll see that it's very much retro fitted, so to speak.
This cannot be opened yet.
Okay, I can't open that, but it's real. This is so cool. I only I touched this the other day, and I wanted to save it for a stream because I want all my reactions to be genuine. So let's go in here and see what we got. Okay. So yeah, and I got rid of my PlayStation because I needed to make some money. And eventually, out of just being bored, I started playing my little brother's Xbox 360. And when I did that, I really wanted to play Diablo, and so I did, and I picked it up. And a friend of mine, Leo, who I work with in Publix, no longer, I switched Publixes, but yeah, buddy of mine, he convinced me to start playing on the PC, and he was telling me about Diablo, and I was telling him I played on the console, to which he replied, the better experience is on the PC. So I went ahead and I like outfitted this laptop I had so that I can play it, and I got Diablo, and I started playing on PC, and that's when I really got into this game. I played the hell out of this game. What do we got here? And I really started to get an understanding for how this game works, and that's when I started building this demon hunter that I have now. And what's crazy is that I had to basically replay it on the PlayStation 4 when they released it, just so I can get the build that I worked on so much on the PC version.
I cannot open this.
Okay, I can't even open that. Ingredient missing. What is going on here? Okay, there's a cow. And another cow. I assume that this is a reference to, like, the first game. You hit the cows and their cow souls are just there. That's pretty cool. So yeah. So I really worked hard on this, you know, on the theory craft of this demon hunter. Oh man, this is so neat. The elevation of the... Oh boy, I recognize this. This is awesome. I don't need that bow. I've got a badass setup. I fucking love this song. Sometimes I go on YouTube and I just play this song just because it's so good. So yeah. So I mean, I feel like I'm kind of stumbling on my words, but essentially the build
has been found.
Oh, that's so cool. That's like the exact quote. So essentially the build that I like to play with this demon hunter is very trap heavy and very area controlling. Like, I like to set down my trap. What you see here, this blue aura, is like they're sentries. And I call them traps because I used to use caltraps a lot, which are these, you know, traps that you put on the floor, and when an enemy walks in it, it slows down. But in one of the patches that came out in Diablo, they made it so that the turret has it used to have a healing aura. This aura right here that I'm in, it used to heal allies, but they changed it so that what it is a frost aura, and any enemy that goes in it is slowed down. So once they made that change, I decided I didn't really need caltraps anymore, and I started using the spike traps, which is what you see here. Oh, I think they changed the spike traps, so it's only 2. It used to be 3. That's interesting. I gotta look into that. But yeah, so basically I lay these spike traps down, and when enemies walk on it, it explodes. I think it's 3 times, and it does some significant flame damage. And I try to combine that with my turrets, so that way when they're walking into it, they're slowly walking into it and taking all that damage, while the turrets are also messing them up. And then I have what you see here is this is a hatred caster. Hatred is the resource on the bottom there. On the bottom left-hand side, you see that orange resource. That's hatred for demon hunter. And these are, I forgot what they're called, cluster arrows. Yeah, the cluster arrows, and they do significant damage. Got a big squad of people here. I'm kind of just plowing through these people. And the cool thing about my setup is, with my armor set, is the Marauder set, is that you'll see these pets that are following me. That's actually one of the Demon Hunter's abilities, is to have a pet. But with this full set of armor, it allows me to have all of my pets out at once, which is really neat. Because they do a significant amount of damage. And they also help with my area control. Sometimes you see how they'll run up ahead of me and my enemies will be distracted, and it gives me an opportunity to put damage on them from afar. And another really awesome thing is that you see the hatred caster I have. It shoots not only from where I'm at, but if there's enemies around, these turrets will also shoot cluster arrows, which is a very neat part of the Marauders build that I have. And I honestly, I don't think it gets any better. Like, it's a very efficient setup. And going back to the hand bows that I have, or the crossbows, whatever you want to call them, I can vault pretty much infinitely. And so if a situation gets too hairy, I can always just, you know, dash away from it. And after playing with a couple of the passive abilities that, you know, that comes with Vault, I used to use Tumble a lot, and what Tumble would allow me to do was every time I vaulted, 5 seconds after any vault, if I were to vault again, it would cost... Oh, nice, I got a belt there. It would cost half the amount of resource to cast another vault. But because I'm using, you know, the Dinetta's set, which essentially, look at that, like, if I were doing this without the Dinetta's crossbows, I'd be using Discipline, which is the blue source that you see right there on the bottom right, bottom left hand side. And it costs a lot of discipline, so it makes, you know, it makes vaulting much easier. So some people call it the perma vault build because I can essentially vault infinitely, and as you can see there, it doesn't cost any hatred whatsoever. Every time I vault, I immediately gain my hatred back. And on top of that, every time I shoot my primary fire, which is what you see here, hey, Paragon 190, which is like this 3-directional multi-shot, I gain hatred, and it's almost the same amount of hatred that it costs to vault. So it's long and short, I can vault infinitely without any worry whatsoever. And the cool thing about the vault is whenever I vault, you'll notice I leave a clone behind me. You'll see right there, shooting, and the clone not only shoots, but it also distracts. So like if I have an enemy that jumps me, I could vault back, and you know, that clone will, you know, distract him while I shoot him, just like my pets distract him. And the last thing, well, I was mentioning earlier about the tumble, I switched off of it because I decided to use the fire embers or whatever it's called, and what that does is every time I vault, it leaves a trail of fire. So what I could do is I can just keep vaulting into my enemies, and they have to stand in that fire and take that damage. And another cool thing about the Dinettas is that every time I vault through an enemy, they're stunned real quickly. You'll see that the enemies have the stars over their head. That's because they're stunned. And on top of being stunned, they're stunned and standing on top of fire. So they're ooh, I almost died. They're taking a lot of damage. Anyway, I'm really bad at talking and playing, so let me just get my groove on for a second. I almost died there. So you see,
must wait longer.
You'll see what I do is I try to back map. I'll create a trap, I'll put down a sentry, and I'll stand near it, and I'll try to clear as much enemies as I can. And when I uncover more map, which is you'll see in the bottom right hand side, what I tried to do is I call it back mapping. I'm not sure if there's an actual terminology for it, but I'll uncover map and then I'll move back so that I bring the enemies to where I've already been, because enemies don't spawn unless you've uncovered map. So anytime you've uncovered map and you see an enemy spawn, it's important to not move forward, because you're just going to create more spawn and you have to fight more people. So right now I only want to fight what's on the screen and make sure that I take care of that before I advance, because I already know what's behind me, because I've already uncovered that ground. I know that that's safe ground. So that's what I mean by back mapping. I uncover the map, I fight enemies, and then I move back so that I draw them into and I have more control over the fight. Got a boss here, let's go ahead and take care of him. You see, what I try to do is whenever I have one isolated strong target, I'll just continuously vault through them, keep them stunned, make sure they're standing on fire. I got my turrets doing damage, I got my animals doing damage. It's a very high damage build that I have, and it needs to be because demon hunters are weak, and not weak in terms of their damage output, but weak in terms of armor. Like, as you saw earlier, as soon as I got jumped by a bunch of ads, you know, my health went down very fast, which is something that you have to be very careful with demon hunters. So I think for time's sake, I'm probably just gonna try to, if I'm not mistaken, this is like a revamped version of the labyrinth in Diablo 1. So eventually I will hit the butcher. So for time's sake, I think I'm just gonna try to go to the butcher and defeat him, and then from there just kind of stop, and that'll be it. Ooh, damn! I just wasted my potion. I didn't waste it. I have a bottomless potion.
Survive that.
But it does have a cooldown, so I have to be careful about when I use it. Oh, there he is. That's the butcher. Okay. Oh man, he's chump. Oh wow, he hit me pretty hard. Nice. Got that son of a bitch. Dope. Oh nice, a transmog. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I probably need to up the difficulty on this because I feel like I'm plowing through it. And for I mean, there's no one watching this now. I don't have a pretty big streaming base now, but for those of you that tune into this after I posted it and let it sit on YouTube, you know, I really appreciate you checking out. Hopefully you guys are fans of Diablo and you're stoked about this 20th anniversary thing as I am. And for those of you that like my Diablo gameplay, I actually intend on putting out a series of videos where I play a hardcore character. And I've been playing, not much, but I started a hardcore campaign and I started playing with a buddy of mine named Frankie. And we both started some hardcore characters, and I named my character Devora because, funny thing, the game automatically named her Devora. Like, anytime you start a new hero, what'll happen is the game will like make a default name for you, but you can change it. But the default name that was chosen for me was Devora, and Devora is actually my main character in Mortal Kombat. Like, I'm really good with her. Not really, I mean, I think I'm really good with her, and I challenge anybody who says otherwise. But yeah, so because that was her name, I decided to just keep it. And Frankie made a character, I think a barbarian, and he named him Bum. So we were thinking about calling that series. Oh boy, look at this. I remember this. This is awesome. Man, they really kept it original and true. But Frankie, yeah, what I was saying was Frankie started a hardcore barbarian, and he named it Bum. So we were thinking about calling it The Adventures of Bum and Devora. And we thought that would be pretty cool. Oh, look at this chest. Treasure. You know what? Now that I think about it, there should be a new playable class. The Necromancer. The Necromancer should be available to play. I'm just gonna play a little longer, and I'm gonna check that out, and this will probably be the end of it. I honestly thought that the Butcher would be... thought that it would take a little longer to find, and to be completely honest, a little harder to kill. But I'm sure I'll revisit that in a higher difficulty and give myself a bit of a challenge. But yeah, man, this is really cool. I really like what they did with this this little text, this textural what do they call it? I think they call it retro vision, if I'm not mistaken. This is really neat. See, if I didn't have my Donettas, the hand bows, like I wouldn't be able to vault that much. And I'm talking, I can vault like a lot, and that's, man, it just makes him makes the Demon Hunter the most mobile, quickest, hardest to hit. Okay, level 3. I forgot how many levels there were to this labyrinth. Oh shit. Movement speed. Let's get it. Oh shit, there's a lot of people in here. I do not fuck around. What am I playing on? Torment 8. Gee, man. This is like either I'm really powerful or Torment 8 is just too easy. I wonder if I go to town if this whole retro vision stays the same. Oh, it doesn't. Man, gotta love that fucking theme. Just go get some salvaging. Huh, I think they changed it so that the traps fall on my feet. It used to be that the spike traps would fall under the enemy's feet. Oh, and they go off instantly now. I really ought to look up some patch notes. And I gotta say, one of the biggest reasons I'm streaming Diablo and streaming in any shape is because of this channel that I watch, Riker. Big shout out to Riker, man. If you ever get around to seeing this video, dude, your channel is awesome, and I applaud you, man. You make some great content. Your Diablo videos are really cool. All your Overwatch lore content is really awesome. And if you guys don't watch Riker, I highly recommend it, especially if you're into Diablo or anything Blizzard for that matter. He covers a lot of Blizzard content. Alright, well, that's gonna do it for me. I'm just gonna go ahead and check to see if if this guy is a playable character. You know what? Let me just make it to Paragon 192 since I'm so close. My goal with this Demon Hunter is to make it to Paragon 800, because if I'm not mistaken, if you hit Paragon 800, then you've maxed out your whole skill tree.
I'm returning to town.
Alright, let's see if the Necromancer's playable, and if he is, then I'm gonna call that a night. I fucking love that music. Alright, let's call it quits. Nope. Doesn't look like the Necromancer's available. What up, Blizzard? What's up with that, bro? Why do PC people get everything and the console players, you know, we don't get shit? Come on, man. I want to play that new class, man. It is what it is. I still got to play one of these guys, one of these guys, one of these guys. Well, I played him before, but I want to restart it. I want to play a witch doctor, and I started a wizard. He's doing pretty good, but it could be better. But anyway, guys, that's gonna do it for me. And if you like this Diablo content, you know, make sure you hit that thumbs up and, you know, subscribe. Hit the notification, the little bell button. That way, you know, anytime I start streaming, you guys will know about it. And yeah, man, I hope you enjoyed it. And I'll be putting out some more Diablo content in the future if you guys are into that. So thank you very much, man. You guys have a good one.